The NBA currently has an incredible amount of young talent, which is great for us as basketball fans. Though what players stand above the rest? Now that we're deep in the offseason, I thought it would be fun to rank the 5 best players at each position who will be under 25 for this upcoming season. I did this series last year, and it will also be fun to see who has emerged or has graduated off the list. This time, it's the wings, and unlike the guards, nobody who made last year's list is ineligible, so there is going to be a lot of depth here, which is great news given how NBA teams prioritize the position. Now, with that said, let's take a look at the talented young wings the league currently has to offer. Given how deep the field was this year, there are a lot of honorable mention candidates. Denny Avdia and Tumani Kamara both stood out for the Portland Trailblazers this past season, most notably for Avdia's blossoming offensive game and Kamara being an all-defensive team player, though this will be the age 25 season for both players. The same goes for Trey Murphy, who I've always been high on, but broke out last season for the Pelicans in an expanded offensive role. Brandon Miller cracked this list last year, but was limited to just 27 games as he needed season-ending wrist surgery, though I'm still high on his long-term potential. There were a few players from the 2024 draft who also showed some impressive flashes last season, in Zachary Risachet and Modest Buzelis. While they won't make the list this year, they'll certainly be intriguing players to follow going forward. Of course, we also have the recent number 1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg. I don't put rookies on here, but if he's anything close to the player people think he could be, he'll certainly be on here for the foreseeable future. I could add even more guys who intrigue me here, but let's get to the list. Sometimes it takes a player's team receiving a bit more national attention for people to realize how good they are. That's what I currently think the case is with Jalen Johnson, who, given what he's shown so far, checks in at number 5 on the list. In his second season as a primary starter, Jalen continued to showcase his versatile skill set. The 23-year-old is dangerous in transition, but also makes an impact on the offensive glass, creates for others, and has shown he can create for himself off the dribble a bit as well. Though Johnson's also an impactful defender, as he has the size, length, and movement to defend various positions, and this past season performed very well on a per-possession basis defending actions like isolation and opponents coming off screens. Jalen's season ended prematurely due to shoulder surgery, and in the 2 years he's been a primary starter, he's played in just 92 games, which is a bit concerning. Though aside from working on becoming more consistent shooting from 3, there's a lot to like here, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I believe there's a chance he makes the All-Star game this upcoming season. Johnson's skill set is one that can impact winning on any team, and it won't be surprising if he suddenly gets more national attention as the Hawks hope to make a serious push in the Eastern Conference. Coming in at 4 on the list is Scottie Barnes, who has had an interesting start to his NBA career. Barnes was drafted to a Raptors team that was looking to compete right away, and he was very valuable as a complementary player, and even won Rookie of the Year in 2022. Though entering his third season, Toronto reset, making Barnes the centerpiece, and he made an All-Star game in 2024. However, this past year, the Raptors dealt with a lot of injuries, and what was supposed to be a core group of Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, and Jakob Poeltl played just 9 games together. That doesn't even include Brandon Ingram, who the team acquired at the trade deadline but didn't suit up for Toronto this past season. As a result, Scottie took on a higher usage role offensively, and his efficiency as a scorer dropped off, though the skills that make him valuable were still apparent. He can do a bit of everything on both ends of the floor, as he can play on or off the ball, can create for others, and defensively, he has the blend of skills teams look for that would allow him to defend various positions. Barnes has been a subpar 3-point shooter so far in his career, but this past season, he did draw free throws at a higher rate, which is encouraging. While Scottie might not become a true number 1 option offensively in a traditional sense, he has a ton of valuable skills that teams covet, and it will be interesting to see how everything comes together when playing with what should be a healthier Raptors team. Franz Wagner checks in at number 3, and if it wasn't for a torn oblique, he probably would have made his first All-Star game last season. After Paolo Banchero went down with the same injury 5 games into the season, Franz became the Magic's number 1 option and averaged 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists a game in his absence before getting hurt on a team that struggled to space the floor. To go with the offensive production, he's also a very good defender, and at 6'10 has the versatility to defend players at various positions. While Franz showed what he was capable of as a number 1 option, He's also very dangerous playing off the ball, as he's good at moving without it and makes quick decisions. The biggest question for Wagner is his three-point shooting, as after being serviceable from deep to start his career, has shot just 29% on threes the past 2 seasons. He's also had a bit of a hitch in his shot during that time, so that could play a role in the struggles. Though aside from shooting threes, he has shown very good touch, so there's reason to believe he'll improve here. Wagner this past season got some experience as a number one option and showed he was capable there, and his diverse offensive skill set paired with his defensive versatility would fit with any team. Now, don't be surprised if he does make the All-Star game this upcoming year on a Magic team with improved spacing that's looking to win big. Not many players can say they won their first NBA title and made their first All-Star and All-NBA teams in the same season, though Jalen Williams, who is number 2 on this list, can proudly say that. The man known as J-Dub took on a larger offensive role for the Thunder this past season and responded very well to the challenge. He averaged a career-high 21.6 points per game, but still had better than league average efficiency as a shooter, showing that he can score from all levels and play both on and off the ball. Jalen's efficiency dipped in the playoffs, though I'd say that's more related to playing through a torn ligament in his wrist, which impacted his shooting, as he was still very dangerous getting downhill. Though the other thing that makes Williams an ideal fit with the Thunder is his defense. Despite being listed at 6'5", Jalen has a 7'2" wingspan and has the blend of strength, length, and lateral movement to defend various positions. To highlight that, when the team had a period with both Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein out with injuries, the Thunder felt comfortable starting him at center for a stretch of games. Williams could continue to work on tightening his handle, which is an issue a lot of players with very long arms deal with. Though aside from that, he's an ideal running mate for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and figures to be a high-end player for the foreseeable future. Paolo Banchero, like last year, comes in at number 1 on this list, though depending on what basketball fans you speak to, this pick can be a bit polarizing. As someone who tries to blend both the eye test and stats when evaluating players, it's important to add context here. 5 games into the year after a hot start, Banchero tore his oblique and was sidelined for over 2 months. He really struggled in his first 20 or so games back, though he caught fire in his final 20 games as he averaged just under 30 points a game, shot a bit better from 3, and the Magic made some changes along the way. Later in the year, the Magic added a more traditional point guard to their starting lineup, which created more opportunities for Paolo to get out in transition, or in some cases, contribute playing off the ball. The other notable takeaway from this stretch was Banchero shot 79% from the free throw line. With his ability to bully opponents and get downhill, this would be a drastic boost if sustainable, given that he draws fouls at a very high rate and has shot 73% from the line so far in his career. So Paolo can improve as a shooter both here and from 3. Though the Magic's lack of spacing these past few years hasn't done him any favors, as there are many possessions where he had to settle for tough mid-range jumpers, which plays a role in some questioning his shot selection and efficiency. Though the addition of Desmond Bane will be a huge one for Paolo, as his outside shooting will not only create space for Banchero to get downhill, but Bane's ability to handle the ball will also take pressure off of him as a playmaker. This should allow Paolo to take more shots at the rim, and 3 to 10 feet from the basket, where he improved his efficiency this past season. Banchero turns 23 in November, so he's far from a finished product, but few players match his offensive upside. There just aren't a ton of players at 6'10", 250 pounds that could score in a variety of ways while also consistently being able to create advantages for teammates. With the added spacing to the Magic's roster, I'd assume Paolo takes more shots at the rim this upcoming season, and he's going to continue drawing free throws at a high rate. Now improvements there and from 3 to go with impressive facilitating at his size makes for a dangerous combination. Though accounting for all that, I believe this season will allow Paolo to show that he has the makings of a franchise player and perennial all-star that the Magic are counting on. That wraps up my top 5 wings under 25 heading into this upcoming season. The players mentioned have a wide array of skills at different sizes, and given that all these players still have room to improve, it gives us as basketball fans a lot to be optimistic about. If you had any thoughts on the rankings or players you thought deserved to be mentioned, leave them in the comments, as it's going to be a lot of fun watching these players continue to ascend this upcoming season and beyond. If you made it this far, thank you, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with my latest in-depth NBA analysis.